The three-point shooting, how big of a factor do you think the move back of the line is? Because I can think it's down.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you guys, anybody looked at the numbers?
I'm trying to get the nationwide numbers, but I think it's pretty much down across the board. Do you feel like that's maybe a big factor in what's happening here with this team?
I don't know about our team.
Okay.
But I would think there's got to be an adjustment period for all the players. I know that you've seen, especially early in the season in the practices, scrimmages, guys, the factor of it in the corners, guys stepping out of bounds more because they're closer to the sideline. That part of it. I'm sure with some players it's a factor. The common denominator you hear of all of us say are, it won't affect Jake Kyman, but it affects the average shooters. It won't affect the great shooters. I think, range is based on how you shoot the ball. I mean, if you shoot through your legs, the way for Steph Curry, for a good example. I mean, if you shoot through your legs, a foot's not going to matter. But if you're shooting the ball with your arms, it matters a lot. Matters a lot for guys that so form has a lot to do with who it would affect. That's why people say the better shooters have the best form. They're shooting through their legs, so they have more range. So that's why you hear that statement. But I don't know how it would, from our standpoint, how it would affect us. Tough for me to say that.
Just broadly speaking, how does it impact the team not having a handful of guys who can knock those shots down?
Oh, it impacts every team. But I would tell you, in my opinion, Dave missed 6 or 7 months, and most of that he was totally shut down. So he hasn't been himself shooting the ball. But they always say, hey, good shooting kills a multitude of sins. It cures a multitude of sins. I'm sorry. Good shooting can overcome a lot. Great shooting can mask a lot of weaknesses. But I would tell you, our problem is passing. I think that what you don't see, what the layman doesn't see, is the good teams are open more, because you say, well, they're getting better shots and more open shots because of their passing. Our game, the shooters relying upon the passer and the screener. I thought we did a better job of our big guys did a better job of screening in the last game. It's an area where we got to keep improving. But guys that can break down the defense and make the right pass. Like, look, we won at Washington because Chris Smith drew the defense, sucked them in, and threw a great pass to Tiger, who threw the easy pass to Jake. So guys that can break down the defense and find the open man, that's the key. That's something we try to we're continuing to work on. But what I would say to you, you get to play with a guy like Lonzo Ball for a year, then those guys could tell you how much easier their life was, how many easier baskets they got, how many easier shots they got. I mean, just look at everybody that's played with LeBron's, anybody that's played with him, because they're getting easier shots because of his passing and his ability to break down the defense. So passing is an area where we've got to improve. So I'll give you a stat. We've had our shot blocked 20 times in conference play. I mean, that's beyond unacceptable. That means you're not open and you need to pass the ball. And most of our block shots, we're trying to score on 2 people. We're in traffic, meaning somebody's open.
Is that an area where the bigs need to contribute to the passing by getting it back?
Not all big guys, though.
Right.
We subscribe to a theory that if we get the offensive rebound, we get to shoot the ball no matter how many guys are on us. You get the rebound, you can't score or get fouled. You have to find the open man. Have to. So that's another, it's an area where we're working on. We show it on film. We got to improve.
One more question about threes. Is there a cutoff line where you want guys to be as far as percentage that you kind of target?
Well, we do shooting drills that really kind of give our answer. You know, like in a 2-minute standstill shooting drill, if you can't make over 30, like just same spot, then both sitting there, standing there, pick your favorite spot. If you can't make 30 consistently in a 2-minute shooting drill, we're just feeding you, you're not a 3-point shooter.
And are there certain guys that have the green light based on that and certain that don't?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you guys emphasizing passing in practice more so than you?
Oh yeah, just in trying to tee, you got to try to show it on film and practice it. So it's the hardest thing to teach, though. If you were to ask me in basketball, all the things you can teach a guy to do, passing is the hardest.
Why?
Because it requires, a lot of it's natural. You know, some people are just gifted. You know, LeBron was born that way. I saw him in 8th grade. Nobody taught him. You don't feel pressure, so your head's up, your ball skill and your court awareness. You know, I'm sure nobody taught Tom Brady. You know, comfort, calmness in the pocket, seeing the open man. You know, most guys, you know, that's why our game's the hardest to play. You know, because of ball skill, what we would call ball skills. You know, it's really, really hard.
Is there anyone that's kind of like picking up that more so than
They're all
others?
trying. I mean, they're all trying.
Anyone stands out?
It's an area where we got to really improve. We have to really improve in that area.
Go ahead.
Aside from executing passes, do you think part of the problem is receiving passes, especially when guys are in motion or just maybe not expecting the pass?
No, I don't think so.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
because a lot of passing is the people without the ball working.
There you're going to the last part of it. Is it's all right. We struggle with. Don't move. I'm going to get it for you. Where we struggle is another area where we struggle is where what we would call, not to get too technical, but if somebody's trying to pass me the ball and you're in between us and you're the defender moving out of line. So when we had it, like Cody got buried on the baseline against SC, we got to have a guy, you have to run to the corners so he has an out. So it's moving without the ball, getting into the right spot, spacing. So bad spacing makes it much harder on a passer. So spacing is an issue with that as well. You know, but all things, you know, you're trying to, you know, young players, they tend to run, they want to run to the ball like a 4th grade game. We've all seen 10-year-olds play. Everybody just calls for the ball, chases the ball. I tell guys like Ben to get out of the way. I'm going to break the defense down, I'll get you a shot.
You talked about how defense hasn't been consistent. Do you feel that you sometimes have to go back to the drawing board, so to speak,
Every day.
or just tweak?
Every day. We start at the basics. We're so far away from where we need to be defensively. It's like I told our guys, you know, we put up Stanford stats defensively. That's why their record is what it is. You know, they're 14-2 and they have more turnovers than assists. So they're not 14-2 because of their offense. They're 14-2 because of their defense. We're nowhere near where we need to be defensively. That's a whole new press conference.
As these guys learn your system offensively, would you like to maybe increase the tempo offensively over time?
Can't run without the ball. I mean, all you're doing is getting it out of the net, or you're fouling. You know, the only way to do that is to steal a ball or block a shot, force a bad shot, so you can get out on the break.
It seems like
We need fast break points.
Yeah.
You know, this team needs easy baskets, but it's hard. You know, our second half defense in our last couple games has been a problem. So it's hard to get any easy baskets. All you're doing is taking it out. Other teams going to get back on you. And that's the biggest part of doing it.
Why do you think they don't play as well in the second half?
I think younger teams struggle to compete at the level you need to compete at. as games go on. Older teams tend to impose their will. More physical teams, tougher teams tend to impose their will on other teams. That's just the bottom line. You know, we're fighting and scrapping to try to build our will to compete for 40 minutes. That is the hardest. That is the number one thing that has to change. When that changes, we work on it every day in practice. You know, our competitive will to continue to do things, not fatigue, not give in to fatigue. Because when you do that, you mentally break down. You don't just physically break down. The person with the ball doesn't find the open man, or they're soft with the ball around the rim. Instead of finding the open man, they go up in traffic and get their shot blocked. All the things we've been talking about. And that's why, that's why it behooves you in college basketball to be older with elite talent, like Virginia was last year. But you better be older, or you better have elite talent. You gotta, at Cincinnati, I was able to, we tried to always stay older. That always helped us. Because it was hard for us to get elite talent. The combination is lethal. So it's just harder for younger guys to do it. It just is.
Sorry, but the older factor, Alex Walshinski had some good minutes.
Yeah, well, he looked like a senior playing in a rivalry game with his heart that really cared. It'd be nice, I try to get that out of him every game. But, just I agree with you.
Yeah, especially on the defensive
Well, he
end.
led us in deflections.
Do you know how many he had off the top of your head?
I want to say 6.
Okay. And I know he had at least 2 blocks.
Yeah. Yep. Saving blocks.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been layups, for sure. So all we do is show our guys our mistakes, challenge them to get better, and try to build our will to be able to compete the whole time. Because all we can talk about all that passing, all we want. I mean, look, we're 8-0 and we give up less than 70. So it's not rocket science.
Anything else?
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.